This is On the Clock, an ABC 12 Sports NFL Draft Special, sponsored by Young Chevrolet in Owasso.
For the first time in league history, the NFL Draft has taken over downtown Detroit as hundreds of thousands of football fans from all around the globe are in the Motor City. Welcome into ABC 12 On the Clock, presented by our friends at Young Chevy. It's worth the drive to Owasso. I'm your host, Yosef Nasser. We are excited to bring you the ultimate draft preview. Miriam Bingham will join us in the studio in a moment. But first, we check in with our number one draft pick. That's sports director Brandon Green. He's in downtown Detroit as we speak. BG, you've been there all day long. What's the vibe down there in the Motor City?
Yeah, thank you, Yosef. Fans are actually running to the stage right now as we get closer and closer to draft time. And they've been waiting on this moment, the city of Detroit, since the NFL picked Detroit to be the host city 2 years ago. And when we talk about this team, you add in the Lions winning the NFC Championship, them going to the NFC Championship game. The buzz in Detroit is something that you could just feel in your bones. More than 400,000 people are expected to be in the city tonight, and they're coming from all over the globe. We talked with fans from Canada, Maryland, Ohio, even California. But it's still Lions fans that rule the day. And these fans are so excited, they said they wouldn't even mind if Lions GM Brad Holmes traded out of the first round.
No, I wouldn't. I feel like the roster's pretty good where it's at now.
In Brad we trust. That's all I got to say. He knows what he's doing.
You know, I'm new to the NFL, so it was just really cool to experience this like right off the bat.
It was just excited me because it's just like all the NFL teams and everything is just like all coming together for the draft.
And to be in Lion Country wearing green, what's this experience like, you just walking around and seeing so much Honolulu blue?
There's blue everywhere, but we don't really care. We come to the game every year, so we're used to it.
Just take me through. What went into your outfit today? I see you got the Tempos, black pants, and all the Cincy gear.
Man, I'm a Bengals season ticket holder, Who Day through and through. I dress up like this all the time. I got Bengals underneath. I got my patches on to represent my super fans. Wear my shoes. I just get geared up every weekend, man.
So who's your favorite team if you had to pick one?
Dallas, this is the Dallas Cowboys. We're right here, man. Long way from home, but you know what? Glad to be in Detroit for the day.
You look at the line down there, it looks like nobody's in front of the Commanders, but everybody is in front of the Lions. How does that make you feel?
You know, it's Detroit, it's the Lions. The city is going to be filled with blue and white. But hey, you know, it happens.
And I talked with one Bears fan today that didn't make the story, but he said something that really stuck with me. He said everyone is a winner today because at the end of this draft, everyone will have hope. Now, maybe he just said that because the Bears have the number one overall pick, and we'll see who they're picking with that selection. Reporting live from the NFL Draft, I'm Brandon Green for ABC 12 Sports. Yosef, I'm going to send it back to you, but who do you think the Bears are picking number one overall?
It's a great question, Brandon. I'll tell you in a minute. Let's check and see how that first round of the draft is shaping up. You mentioned the Chicago Bears. They have the number one pick. And I'm going to tell you right now, they are taking Caleb Williams. Intrigue surrounding Washington with the number 2 pick. It looks like it's going to be Jaden Daniels with Drake May going to New England. According to reports, Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy expected to go in the top 10, but which team will it be? Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers are sitting there at 5. Could the Vikings make a charge up the draft board? And, of course, the Lions sitting at 29. So many Lions fans may be waiting a while to hear their team make a selection. General manager Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have both said they would not hesitate to trade out of the first round if the deal was right. As for their draft process, Holmes says he and the scouting department say to be a Lion, players need to have the right combination of talent and character that fit the team's culture.
The best thing about scouting is you get 20 people, 10 people, however many, looking at the same film in a dark room, and you got, 10 different opinions. That's what's awesome about it. When we first got here, we had a ton of needs, so we could go for the most talented guy, the guy that really fit the most. We could have gotten so many different directions. Really, with where the roster is now, I actually think you even have more flexibility to not be anchored into a need.
Well, here's a look at the arsenal of picks the Lions have going into the draft. They have their normal picks in the 1st, 2nd, 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds. That's the 29 slot. In the 3rd round, the Lions have the 73rd overall pick. They got that in the T.J. Hawkinson deal a year ago. No 4th rounder this year, but they do have an extra 6 that they got from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As far as needs go, here are my top 3 for the Lions. An edge rusher to complement Aiden Hutchinson, Layadu Latu, and Jared Verse. Good targets, though they may have to trade up to the mid-1st round. How about receiver? This is regarded as a deep draft at the position. I expect the Lions at least to take one over the course of their 3-day draft. And finally, quarterback. Names like Terrion Arnold, Cooper DeJean, and Quinyon Mitchell are names to watch. And sometimes top 30 visits can give us a clue at where a team's head is at. Look at some of the names you see for Detroit and their projected draft ranges. The 2 Alabama quarterbacks met with Detroit. That's Terrion Arnold and Kool-Aid McKinstry, as did Michigan men Mikey Sainristil and Roman Wilson, not too far down the road in Ann Arbor. The explosive Xavier Legette from NC State also took a top 30 with Detroit. And pay attention to those projected draft ranges. A lot of players in that 2nd to 3rd round range. Could that mean a trade down? This is unfamiliar territory for the Lions. They've been in the top 10 4 of the past 5 years. How are they handling being at the end of the first round? Let's check in with Brandon Green, who is live in downtown Detroit. BG, what tricks might Brad Holmes have up his sleeve?
Yeah, Joseph, you never know what Brad Holmes and company is going to do. Just think of it as if they're in the kitchen just making a great meal. They're going to add in their little bit of spice, move up here, move down there. But everyone in Detroit trusts them because their process is solid, and it all started back in 2021. Brad Holmes and company have been dominant in the 1st round of the draft. Check this out. In 2021, they took Penei Sewell 7th overall. He became a 1st-team All-Pro. But the steal of the draft was Amon-Ra St. Brown, getting him in the 4th round. He also became a 1st-team All-Pro, and both just signed record deals yesterday to become the highest paid in their respective positions. But last year's draft was probably their best work overall, getting Jahmyr Gibbs, Pro Bowler, Sam Laporta, 2nd-team All-Pro. Then getting Jack Campbell and Brian Branch just to add cherries on top to the defensive side. It also gave the Lions stability, and the mindset has changed for Detroit, as now they just want the best guy available.
The best thing about scouting is you get 20 people, 10 people, however many, looking at the same film in a dark room, and you got 10 different opinions. That's what's awesome about it. When we first got here, we had a ton of needs, so we could go for the most talented guy, or the guy that really fit the most. We could have gotten so many different directions. Really, with where the roster is now, I actually think you even have more flexibility to not be anchored into a need. Again, we try to do the best we can in free agency in terms of plugging holes and pulling out the depth chart and do all those things, but and we feel that we did a great job in free agency, and we're in position to go whichever direction that we want to go.
And you could compare Brad Holmes to Snoop Dogg because he just hasn't missed. So we'll see what he does in the draft tonight. But for now, reporting live in Detroit, I'm Brandon Green for ABC 12 Sports. Joseph, I'll send it back to you in that warm studio.
It is warm. Hope it's not too cold out there for you, BG. Shifting gears to Michigan. The Wolverines had the most players ever invited to the Combine with 18 quarterbacks. Always rise this time of year. J.J. McCarthy, no exception. His stock has skyrocketed, but his teammates say they aren't surprised. They say they've known that their QB1 was NFL caliber from the very beginning.
You're just talking about McCarthy. I'm wondering, was there a moment in your time with him where you realized, hey, look, this is an NFL quarterback?
I think that first touchdown to Roman Wilson in the ECU game, he threw it over like 2 defenders and just blopped it right on Roman. I was like, hell yeah, this makes our job so much easier.
In his first full season as Michigan's starting quarterback, J.J. McCarthy made a statement. Well, a few statements right from the very jump.
That man right there is one of the most special players in the country.
That man is senior wide receiver and NFL draft prospect Roman Wilson, who had a breakout season with McCarthy at the helm.
That's my quarterback. That's my guy. He believes in me. He trusts in me. So that gives me the confidence I need to go out there and show the world who I am.
There's so many great players out there in the country, but if the spotlight's not near them or around them, then they're not going to get the exposure they deserve. So he is one of the most special players in the country, and any team that drafts him is going to be extremely blessed to have him.
McCarthy and the 2023 Wolverines took on every challenge, defeating Ohio State for the third straight season, on their way to yet another Big Ten championship, capping off a perfect 15-0 season with a national title. Today, McCarthy is a projected top 10 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. His critics say that any quarterback that have had success on a team as dominant as Michigan was in 2023, his teammates say something different.
First off, he's very smart. He understands football at a very high level. He's got the arm talent. He's got the legs for it.
Even if you do mess up, he's going to be scrambling, things like that. Like, it just takes a lot of pressure off your shoulders.
I think he's just so dynamic, seeing the way he preps, the way he does film study, putting in the extra time.
Really from the moment we got here, I remember he was a freshman, he early enrolled, probably 18 years old. And every time after incompletion, he would bang out and do 10 push-ups. And I was like, dang, man, that's crazy to do. Every time it was incompletion, no matter if it was a drop pass or a pass that was inaccurate, whatever it was, he'd bang out those push-ups and then he stopped doing them because we're all complete.
He's just scratching the surface. Like I said, the team's going to get a great quarterback. I don't think he makes it out the top 5.
He checks every single box. He's a great dude to have on your team and just a leader.
He's got a lot of special attributes for sure.
He's a hell of a quarterback.
Strong praise from his teammates and also his former head coach, Jim Harbaugh. Here's what he had to say, now the LA Chargers head coach. I think he plays quarterback the best of any quarterback in the draft. He's incredible. The Chargers pick at 5. Could that be a McCarthy destination? Here's what college football analyst Joel Klatt had to say about McCarthy's rise up the boards.
His ability to create first downs, that was remarkable last year. When you put on his tape, it can candidly watch a little boring. They're just so dominant up front. And then you go in and you filter it out and you watch a cut up of just 3rd and 6+ or 7+. And all of a sudden it just jumps off the tape. You're like, wow, this guy is incredibly effective in those situations. And he's confident. And those things are going to serve him well at the next level.
Now, McCarthy is considered Michigan's best pro prospect. The only Wolverine projected to be drafted tonight, but close to 20 Michigan men could hear their names called over the weekend. Let's go again to Brandon Green in downtown Detroit. These Wolverines truly travel in a pack, don't they, BG?
Thanks, Joseph. Yeah, like you said, the Wolverines, they do travel in a pack, and winning a national championship, it takes talent. And the Wolverines, they had that in spades last season, and that may be reflected again over the next couple of days in this draft. And when we look at everything, the Wolverines are hoping to break Georgia's record of the most players from one school picked in a single draft. The Bulldogs had 15 drafted in 2015. And Michigan has a good chance of doing just that. They had 18 players invited to the NFL Combine this past season, which was an NFL record. And according to multiple draft boards, they are projected to tie Georgia with 15 players selected in the NFL Draft. And all of this talent not only made the Wolverines a championship team, but it prepared them for the next level.
As you go into
I feel like, it definitely helps. Just the culture we have here, the win. So we're winners, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, Michigan puts out a lot of great guys in the league. So, like I said, that means a lot. I've been in the bright lights. I've been in the pressure games. I've been in the biggest game in the country, national championship. So, like I said, I feel like I've been through it all. I've been here freshman year, through the bad. I've been here through the good. So I've been through a nice little bit of everything.
I feel like I win consistently. I create a lot of separation. I'm explosive, dynamic, reliable, consistent. I feel like that's just who I am. I really like to hang my hat on being reliable and consistent.
The way we carry ourselves outside this building, to be called a Michigan man is, it's an honor. You leave here and you have to carry a standard with you. You have to handle your business a certain way. That's what we're taught here. And, I said it before, I'm saying it again, there's no other university that prepares you for the next level like Michigan does.
But I do think that there's 17 guys that legitimately have a chance. I would say those late rounds, 6th and 7th round in particular, and the 5th round, you're going to see a lot of Wolverines taken. They were so deep. All of their, quote, role players, draftable players.
Joe Klatt also said that Michigan running back Blake Corum is one of the most underrated players in this year's draft. And it's hard to believe after he completely shattered the Wolverines record books. And here's another thing. If J.J. McCarthy is drafted tonight in the first round, he would be the first Wolverines QB selected in the first round since his former head coach Jim Harbaugh did it in 1987. That's some history for you, and that's going to do it here live from the draft. I'm Brandon Green for ABC 12 Sports. Joseph, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, BG. We talked about the Michigan Wolverines. Now it's time to shift gears to the Michigan State Spartans. 3 Spartans drafted in 2023, most notably second-round receiver Jaden Reed. He had a spectacular season for the Green Bay Packers his rookie year. This year, the best prospect with any ties to Michigan State is Keon Coleman, who transferred to Florida State before the 2023 season. So who's left? Miriam Bingham joins us now in studio with more.
Thanks, Joseph. 10 Spartan Dogs are still looking to switch out their green and white jersey for a new one, including center Nick Samac, linebacker Aaron Brule, and wide receiver Trey Mosley. On top of the adversity they faced this past season, Michigan State is still looking for a spot in the draft after their 80-year streak was snapped in 2021. But even with their backs against the wall, these Spartans are ready to take their talents to the next level.
The adversity made us stronger, grew us together as a team. The best teams are the player-led teams, and I think that we had to step up to become a player-led team to, even continue to do what we were doing. And all the guys that competed here today are hard workers. I played with them for a lot of my career.
Yeah, outside of football, there's going to be some times where you get the short end of the stick, but then there's going to be some times you get the benefit of the doubt as well. So you can't be mad or upset about things you can't control. Just when your opportunity presents itself, you gotta grab it.
Patience and maturity, I think, is the main things I really improved on here. Just being patient, man. Things will come. So at the next level. Most of the times it might be a little easier at the next level, to be honest, because teams want you in to come in for one thing. Well, that's what's helped me here. Learning multiple things will help me for the next level.
And Nick Samac was the only Spartan to be invited to the NFL Combine back in February, but couldn't participate on the field due to a knee injury. Reporting for ABC 12 Sports, I'm Miriam Bingham.
Thank you, MB. I know we have a few coworkers who are Michigan State Spartan fans looking to see some Spartan Dogs get drafted. But if they don't, everyone's journey to the NFL is different. You don't have to be drafted to make a dent in the league. There's no guarantee you see the field on year one. If you do get drafted, in some cases, you may not even make the roster. But the NFL is just like life. It's about taking advantage of your opportunity. That's what former SVSU stars Nick Whiteside and Trevor Nowaski did. Both players went undrafted and played on NFL teams last season. We followed Trevor's story with the Lions. He played in 2 games for Detroit last year. Nick Whiteside took the road less traveled. He didn't make the Commanders' initial roster, but was picked up on the practice squad. He went through 16 weeks of just practicing, not knowing if he'd get cut the following week. Finally, during week 17 against the 49ers, he got his opportunity. Whiteside sided the field and signed a 1-year deal with the Commanders this offseason. He says his perseverance paid off.
All you need is one team to like you and want you to come in and possibly fight for an active roster spot and just really control what you can't control, because a lot of things are outside of your control. So you only need one team. You don't need all 32 teams. Sometimes it's better not to hear your name called, so that way you can work a little bit harder and do a little bit more. So take the road less travel way, as I would like to say.
We have to take a quick commercial break, but when we return, we'll take a look at some of the Chippewas preparing for the next level. Plus, we talk with Lions superfan and Fenton native Mark Mullins about the NFL draft in downtown Detroit. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
You're watching On the Clock, sponsored by Young Chevrolet in Owasso. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Hi, Tony Young here from Young Chevrolet in Owasso, Ionia, and St. John's. There's great deals happening right now on brand new Chevrolets like this Equinox you can drive starting at just $198 a month. And here's Alex at the St. John's location to tell you about the great truck specials happening right now.
Here at Young of St. John's, I got a huge selection of Silverados that you can drive for as low as $280 a month. We're Lansing's best kept secret, minutes north, Young of St. John's.
Welcome back to ABC 12's On the Clock special. We've talked Lions, Wolverines, Spartans, and SVSU Cardinals, but what about the Chippewas? They've put their fair share of players in the pros, Pro Bowlers like Antonio Brown, Joe Staley. They even had the #1 overall pick, Eric Fisher, back in 2013. Who might hear their name called this weekend? Miriam Bingham spent some time with the Chips and joins us with more.
Thanks, Joseph. There are 6 hopeful Chips who are waiting to hear their names called this year. And for all of them, they have been dreaming to get to the next stage for as long as they can remember. I got a chance to talk to them on Pro Day, and they say they're ready to land their next opportunity.
It's nothing I never felt before, just like getting prepared for a game.
These Chips are fired up as a dream of playing in the NFL is one step closer.
I went to a really small high school out of Saginaw, New Valley Catholic Central, so getting recruited was a little tougher. Obviously, had the great opportunity to come to Central, play Division I football, dream come true.
Saginaw native Robbie Stewart has seen a lot during his 7-year career at CMU. Even battling through injuries, the goal has always been the same.
When I was a kid, it was always, I want to play football, I want to play in the NFL, all these kind of things. And then you get a little older and you gotta, okay, I have that goal and now I have to do, okay, what's sub goal 1 and what's sub goal 2? So it's like, get my offer for college football, now play great in college football.
6 Chippewas are preparing for the NFL draft, and they say their time spent in Mount Pleasant has prepared them to play on Sundays.
I feel like I got prepared here at Central, and I feel like they molded me to be a leader and have an eye for the game.
Because I never know where I was going to be thrown in at, whether it be left tackle, left guard, right tackle. It had to be prepared for anything.
Even if they go undrafted, these Chips just want an opportunity to prove themselves.
Going into an organization, I think I present myself as a person who can fit well in a professional atmosphere. I think I handle my business well, I'm disciplined, I work hard on and off the field. I would love an opportunity with any team.
Now I see my chances getting slim. Now is the time to actually be at the next level. So I just got that mentality, like I give my best to any organization that take a chance on me.
Since 2022, 3 Chippewas have heard their names called during the NFL draft, and these fellows hope to have the same fate. Reporting in the studio for ABC 12 Sports, I'm Miriam Bingham.
Thank you, MB, and best of luck to the Chips. It is that time of the program. Anytime there's anything big going on with the Lions, we've got to check in with Fenton native and Lions superfan Mark Mullins. Brandon Green is a part of Mark's entourage at this point. How are you guys doing down there in Detroit, BG?
Thanks, Joseph. I'm here with Lions superfan and Fenton native Mark Mullins.
Hi, guys.
He's a Hall of Famer, folks. That's how big of a fan he is.
Yes, I am.
And it seems like we talk every single year whenever you go to the draft, Vegas, Cleveland, wherever, for it to be
City
here.
Last year, yeah. Oh, this is special. We brought so many of our friends into town. I'm in a fan association, Pro Football's Ultimate Fan Association. And so we all got together last night downtown here. And there was super fans like me from every team, And our camaraderie is incredible. I mean, the people I meet, like these Vikings fans, I know them. They walked up and they play, hey, Pilgrim. It's really fun. I'm happy. And I love the whole country to see Detroit as it really is. Not what you hear, not what so I'm really happy. Yep.
And for you growing up, the draft was always happening in New York. So for it to branch out to other cities, did you ever think that it would come here?
No. And when they first started doing this a few years ago, I'm like, what a great idea, And they've really turned this into a huge event. I'm proud of them. That's just, and this is for the fans. Everything's free. That's the best part, I mean, it costs a lot to be a, season ticket holder and stuff like that. And everybody spends a lot of money, so this is incredible, Plus all the kids,
And then when you think about just the Lions and the momentum that they have, they're in a different spot this year. So would you be upset if Brad Holmes traded out of the first round?
I wouldn't be upset if Brad Holmes traded out of the first 3 rounds. No, he's the man. I don't care what he does. If he wants to move up, great. If he wants to stay there, great. If he wants to drop down, because he's not just drafting for this year, he's drafting for our future. So, no, I'll never question anything that man does. Thanks, Sheila. Woo! You're getting all excited, man.
And tomorrow you get to be even closer to the action, getting to be so close to that stage. What do you think that's experience going to be like?
It's fun. That'll be my 4th time. That'll be Saturday, actually. But the feeling down there is great, and it's the same thing. We got all the camaraderie of all the different super fans. We're all walking around hugging each other and taking pictures. It's a special deal. I'm so glad to be part of it.
Then what's the favorite thing your favorite thing that you have on? Which button or which thing?
Well, my buddy Donnie that passed away, Uper, man, he's, we always bring him with us. I even have a picture of me and him for the tailgate tomorrow. But I'm a cancer survivor. They told me 6 years ago I had 5 years to live. I ain't going nowhere.
That is beautiful. Thank you, Mark, for doing this interview. It's always a pleasure.
We always have
for
so
you.
much fun. We got to get you in the hot tub one of these days.
Well, that may happen. It's warmer than it was when we did it during the playoff.
I know. But that makes it really special. Yep. So shout out to everybody in Fenton. I know you'll be watching tonight. We're going to have a great time. Lions are going to have a great draft. I'm here with one of my best friends and my sister and brother-in-law. My daughter's coming down. It's a family event today.
Well, Joseph, that's going to do it. I'll send it back to you. Me and Mark, we're about to go have some fun at this draft.
Awesome stuff, guys. Thank you so much. Our sports team here at ABC 12 prides ourselves on knowing our stuff. I can speak for myself when I say the NFL draft is like a holiday. But look, I'm no draft expert. That's why I decided to speak with a few of the experts to see which Michigan players will make the biggest splash in the pros. Fox Sports' Joel Klatt and NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah are two of the most respected draft and college football analysts in the business. Klatt says he thinks as many as 17 Wolverines could be drafted, suggesting that Jim Harbaugh could load up on late-round picks to ensure that Michigan breaks Georgia's record of 15 set back in 2022. Jeremiah thinks that Junior Colson is Michigan's most underrated pro prospect. As for Klatt, he is an unapologetic fan of Blake Corum, the person and the player.
Blake is one of the most undervalued players in the entire draft. His production is obviously off the charts. I think that his ability to run with vision is really unmatched in this draft, and then he catches it better than people realize out of the backfield. Part of the reason people don't realize he catches it so well is because Donovan Edwards caught it so well and was in more of those situations. But Blake is going to do remarkably well, and I would be remiss if I didn't say this, and I told him this last weekend at the spring game. Blake's in my top 4 individuals, people that I've ever covered in college football. I love the kid. I wish him all the best, and I very much believe he will succeed.
As we touched on earlier in the program, wide receiver position of need for the Lions. Yes, they just signed Amon-Ra St. Brown to a massive 4-year, $120 million extension, and Jameson Williams expected to take another leap in year 3. But the Lions could use some depth at the position. This year's draft considered to be very strong at receiver. The Lions will not be in range to add a franchise changer like Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, or Roma Dunze, but there are guys in the later rounds who could be attractive to Detroit. Here's what Brad Holmes had to say about possibly adding to that position group.
Hey, I think it's a solid receiver group. There's some guys that's gonna, should be able to contribute immediately. But, in terms of my opinion of strength, that's always subjective, That's what makes the draft so fascinating is, what our draft board is. It's 31 other draft boards. They may think that it's not as good, so we'll just keep those to ourselves. But I do think there's some receivers that's going to be able to contribute pretty early, I would think, in this class.
Well, it's been a blast. We are moments away from draft day right here on ABC 12. Thank you to Brandon Green, Miriam Bingham, our sponsor, Young Chevrolet in Owasso, our entire team here at ABC 12. For the record, I'm going to give you who I think the Lions are going to pick. I think they make the move up. Terrion Arnold, the cornerback out of Alabama, they're going to make a move up for him. If he's not available, they're going to trade down for multiple picks in the 2nd and 3rd. Coming up next, the NFL Draft right here on ABC 12. We will see you tonight at 11 with a recap of all of the action. Until then, I'm Yosef Nasser. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the draft.
Thank you for watching On the Clock, an ABC 12 Sports NFL Draft Special. On the Clock has been sponsored by Young Chevrolet in Owasso. Stay tuned as the 2024 NFL Draft starts in 30 seconds.